Well, all my ASL friends out there, this is your host ID Jester. Welcome back to Starter Kit, Scenario 1488 at Zon. With our enhanced SHCB rules, we're starting off turn number 2 here. It's the Allied player's turn. We're in the rally phase. American player doesn't need to do anything, so we'll go right into the German player's turn because we have some strategy and thoughts about this. So the German player, again, the American player doesn't know what's in this hex, was it G6 here. There's a broken unit there, and he also knows that there is also a unit under a concealment counter. So it could be a full squad, it could be a leader, it could be anything. And this is where the German player has to decide what he has to do. Because if he wants to rally this unit, since it's not his turn, he cannot self-rally any units. So he would have to have his leader do that. Well, his leader is currently concealed, so if he does that, he would lose his concealment counter, and then the American player will know what unit is there. At this point, he doesn't know. It could be a full squad. Probably, if I was the American player, I would think it's got to be some kind of full squad there. Um, and so, I'd have to tread dangerously if the American player knows that that is a leader. If we decide to rally him, that could cause some. It would really open up things for the American player because then he wouldn't have to worry, assuming this guy doesn't rally, he wouldn't have to worry about the leader. He could just march his units up there. So, with that said, I think for various reasons, the German player again has to decide: does he want to unconceal his leader, show that he's got a leader there, so he can get this unit rallied? Otherwise, he can get rid of the DM counter, keep the broken unit, and keep the broken concealment counter, or keep the concealment counter on here. Now, as the American player is probably going to be moving up and stuff, he won't have defensive fire because it's just a leader that's being concealed there. So he doesn't really have any way to stop the American advance over here because of for various reasons. So he's kind of in a tricky situation. Does he unconceal his leader, show that he's got a leader there so he can try to rally the broken unit, or does he keep the American player um, not knowing what is there? And thinking that it's a full squad, he might, try to delay his advance, throw smoke, do all the stuff that's going to delay him from moving forward. Or does he actually try to get his unit rallied? Because that way, if he can rally him, he'd have a squad and a leader with a machine gun, and hopefully keep the American advance down. So strategy-wise, the German player is going to try to rally this unit. So he is going to show that he does have a leader there. His leader will become unconcealed when he does this to try to rally. Again, because it's not his turn, he could not self-rally this unit. It would be a different situation if it was the German turn. He could try to self-rally this unit. But in this case, it's going to be a 7 morale, plus 4 for the DM counter, minus 1 for the building. So it's going to be a dice roll, and we're going to add 3 to it. We need 7 or less. So let's see what happens with this rally attempt. He rolls a 9, so does not rally, ends up getting rid of this DM counter. Now the American player knows it's just a leader and a broken squad there. Don't have much to worry about. Okay. Unfortunately for the German player there, didn't quite work out in his favor. Okay, so that is the end of the rally phase. We'll now go on to prep fire. So it kind of opens things up now. The American player could prep fire, but again, he needs to get his units off the bottom of the map. It just has a few turns to get there. He sees an opening, actually. So there really isn't any need to prep fire. He could prep fire again if several of these units have line of sight to this building here. They could prep fire, try to break him again if he would have rallied. But since he didn't rally, he doesn't think he needs any prep fire whatsoever. And I'm going to put this on pause real quick. I'm going to be right back. All right, we're back. Here we go. So yeah, prep fire, not a good situation for the Americans. Usually the attacker till they get into good positions. And at this point, this unit could prep fire, this unit could prep fire. But the American is thinking he's going to be moving lots of units up. These units will probably defensive fire when the opportunity arises. So there's no need for, well, is there any need for him to attack? Is he going to move is the question. That should be the main question. Is the unit going to be moving? If he was going to move, where would he go? I guess is the American player. I'm thinking he could come here and then move here. This unit would not have line of sight to him. This unit would have line of sight across. But if you can get that unit there, advance into this hex, these two units can't see one another because this is a level 1. This is also a level 1 obstacle, so they can't see one another. This unit could though because he's on a hill. But if he defensive fires at other people, then he would be able to move up. So yeah, I don't think there's any need for him to prep fire. He doesn't see, normally in the prep fire, if you're the attacker, you're looking for these really good attacks. At this point, he doesn't see a real good attack. He can always use his, elite units here in the advanced fire phase, and they'll still have 4 firepower. So, I mean, he's only going to lose 1 column in the advanced fire phase. So yeah, he won't prep fire anything. He's going to go ahead and move. So movement's going to be very interesting for the American player. I've actually been sitting here before I started the episode just contemplating if I was the American player, because I've got the American player hat on now. And I'm just trying to think. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put smoke right here, because I do want to get these units in, but this unit will be able to defensive fire if we bring these units in here. So we need to put smoke in this hex right there. So what is the best way for that to happen? We could put smoke here. That's not really helping what we need to do. Okay. Yeah, I know this video is going to take forever if I don't make a decision. I'm just trying to think of the best situation. All right, well, let's hope. Let's hope that we can do something here. So this squad here in this concealment is He's going to move 2 movement factors to go there. Does does the German player wish to defensive fire on him? Well, German player is thinking about it for a minute. He doesn't see any real reason to do that. So then he's going to spend 2 movement factors to go there. Again, could defensive fire. Does the American player think he's going to move? Probably not going to come out in the open. So is he willing to take a defensive fire shot at him? Actually, he loses his concealment counter because he is moving in the line of sight of an enemy unit within 16 spaces. So as soon as actually he loses concealment when he comes here. So the German player now knows it's a leader in a squad, and does he want to take the, doing some damage to that thing would be nice. He realizes he's, lots of clear terrain. He knows that the American player is probably maybe going to throw smoke out here, actually. If he spends 2 movement factors, he could throw it here. That way this hex side, no, it'll only go down the hex side. He needs to throw it here. So spends 2 more movement factors to go there. Do you want to defensive fire on him? Well, I wish not to. And then for 2 more movement factors, we're gonna actually when he moves there, keeping the concealment counter. If he defensive fires, he'll lose the concealment counter. If these units attack him in the advanced phase, they'll be at half firepower. Yeah, it's just, there's so many advantages to just keeping your concealment counter because he will not. He will not. And there's reasons why. So those of you who don't know, and I'm trying not to show all the units all the time so that people kind of forget who's where, because obviously if we were the Americans, we would have no idea what was under there. But that's why it's hard for me to explain strategies and not show you and talk to you about this. So, the German player, again, same thing he wants to do over here is keep the American player unknown. What is there? What could possibly be here? Wasting his attacks and movements, and could be something good, could be something crappy. He just never will know. Actually, this unit could defensive fire as well. Is it in range? It isn't within range. So when he spends his movement factors, this unit again, he loses his concealment counter. Would be Yeah, but these stone buildings are so good. Does he want to shoot with this guy or this guy? He's probably going to shoot. It's just a matter of who's he going to shoot with. These guys will have a harder time doing defensive fire. I think we want to keep this guy unknown. So he will lose his concealment and he will attack. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this guy is -1 for the non-assault move, +1 for the wood. So it's a straight up 4 firepower attack. And he rolls a 5. Very nice attack, actually. So it's 1 morale check. So leader first, he's a 9. Add 1 to the dice roll. He rolls a 6, +1 is 7. So the leader's fine. The squad is a 7. -1 for the leader, +1 for the 1 morale check. So it's a straight dice roll, 6. So he's fine. Unfortunately, his attack didn't quite do anything. Had a chance at it. This unit could, when this unit moves in, he could defensive fire. Again, I'm trying. I think he will. Letting him know what is there is going to be a problem. And I'll explain why, because I'm going to show you what's there. It's actually just a half squad that's there. So as the German player, reviewing that it's just a half squad, all of a sudden the American player goes, "Oh, okay, I can just come up to that guy and squish him." But keeping him hidden, the American player doesn't know, so he has to think about the worst. So I'm not going to defensive fire with him because I don't want the American player to know what's there. But it's hard to do it when you're just one person. Anyways, so now we're going to try throw a smoke into this hex right there. I need a 1, 2, or 3. Oh, wrong, sorry, wrong one. Try this one. Oh, he got it. All right, so we throw out smoke there, which is definitely going to help the American player. Okay. What do we have over here? Okay, so his activation is done. Just to speed things up, I'm going to show you what one guy's going to do, and they're basically all going to do the same thing. They're going to spend 2 movement factors to go here, and another 2 movement factors to go here. Again, this guy could defensive fire, but he's not going to. So these guys are all going to eventually move one at a time into there until they're all there. So just to speed up time. Now, all right, so the American player needs to decide what he wants to do. If he moves all these guys with the leader, he gets 6 movement factors, which he's going to need to get into the smoke. So he could go 1, 2, bypass the woods down this hex side for 3, 4, 5. Or you can even 1, 2, nope, you can't move all those squads in there. So he'd have to, that's all right. He would move the leader in 2 squads into there, and then into there, and then bring the other squad up, which would just need 1, 2, 3, 4 movement points. All right, so yep. All right, so the American player is going to do that. He's going to take this guy and the bazooka guy and this guy and the leader. Oops, that's not a leader. This is the leader. And this, put that back on there. Because he needs the extra movement factor. So it's 1 movement factor to go there, 2 movement factors to go there. Again, this guy could defensive fire, but shooting through the smoke. This guy can't actually defensive fire on him. Because the building and the hill block line of sight. So this guy will actually spend 3, 4 movement points to go there. This guy could defensive fire at this point, but it's going to be half firepower and +2 because of the smoke, -1 for the non-assault move. Yeah, it's going to be a total of +2, +3. It's going to be a +2 attack, half firepower. It's going to be a 2 +2 attack. And that's only got a very small chance, a 2, a 3, or a 4. He has a better chance of activating the German sniper. So yeah, he's not going to do it. So then these guys will go 5, 6 to move into there. He's almost forcing this guy to have to do something, which, unfortunately, he can, or he doesn't have to again. Yeah, I just think it's better to not do it. If I don't do it, then he's only at half firepower because he advanced moved. So, all right, sorry about the interruption. So, anyways, he moves up there. Again, these 5, 6 Germans in the building. It's only going to be, if you think about it, it's going to be a 4+1 attack. 2 for the smoke, 1 -1 for non-assault move. 2 firepower double is 4. 4+1 attack. That's going to, if you roll 7, that's giving you nothing. Plus then you lose your concealment. So they're going to hold fire. All right, then same thing. This guy is 1 movement factor, 2 movement factors, 3, 4. And this guy actually stays concealed. No, they don't. What am I thinking? He doesn't stay concealed. Neither does this guy. It just took me a second to figure that out. They're moving out. Hey, people see them moving. These guys all lost their concealment as well. They're moving. People can see them. So that goes that, right? So now the German player is really concerned. I mean, basically, you put this guy out there basically as a speed bump to slow down their advance. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe he can still get out of there. Who knows? But it's just a little half squad anyways. A little more concerned over here that the American player can move so easily up adjacent to him. So if I'm the American player, I'd like to get some guys in that building there, but I don't want these guys to be able to fire on me, so I'm going to have to move down in the gully here. If I move here and then down in the gully, we can advance up into this hex here. If we, 1, 2, if we CX, 1, 2, and then it's going to cost 2, and since you're going uphill, it's doubled to 4. You'd have to CX to get up there. Then they could advance into that hex. They would also re-break that German unit. They re-break him. He will be able to route back into this hex or this one through the orchard. If they don't, and they advance into this hex, then they have a good opportunity. Well, he does have an opportunity of rallying this guy as well. So, what are these guys will CX? 1, 2, I think 1, 2, 3. There's a building there that's going to block line of sight between these guys. Could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Re-break this guy because you're now adjacent to a broken unit. And then he's going to have to run. Then we can get units in there into that hex. We could also just move this guy 1, 2 as well and not have to worry about CXing anyone here. I'm just going to remove these guys so I can see. This guy can go 1, 2, 3. And this guy that's here, no, here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they can all get around with the bypass movement, which is definitely giving them an advantage here. So we can get all these units right up in here, and then they can advance into that hex after this unit routes back out. Then they're going to have pretty good firepower on this hex here, and even though it's concealed, it still will do some pretty good damage. And at this point, no one can see him. So, what do we do with this guy? This guy can go 1, 2, 3. He can also come up here. Then we would have a leader and some squads. So the question is, who do we move first? Do we move the leader and the squad up? Do we move the guy with the bazooka up first? Do we bring this guy around first? Because these guys are in buildings, right? This guy's in a building, this guy's in a building hex. So they're in good defensive terrain. These guys are not, so probably you should move these guys first. Get them where we need to go first in case there's any hidden, just for mine attacks or hidden units that might be hip. You never know. So, if I take these guys out of the hex, then these guys could move up to that hex. So, I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages either way. If this guy moves here, I don't think that guy's got line of sight. Actually, this guy has line of sight to everyone up here. That is true. But he's already first fired. So he won't be able to shoot at anybody closer. So this unit's only 1, 2, 3 spaces away. So yeah, this guy won't be able to defensive fire at anybody. So the question is, does he move the squads up first? Does he move the leader up first? The guy with the bazooka up first? And that would be a pretty good kill stack sitting right in that hex, assuming this guy can't break us. There's two units under, or two counters the Americans can see. There's two counters underneath this concealment. So it's either a leader and a squad or a squad and a gun. So it's not, or maybe two squads. That's true. It could be two squads as well. He could put some guys in this, some guys could advance in this one, some guys could advance in this one. They could still form a fire group. They would lose the leader bonus if they did that, but they would spread their attacks out between multiple locations. So there's advantages that way. So if this guy does defensive fire, ends up getting a good result, he's not going to break a whole bunch of stacks in one building. All right, well, the American player is finally going to do his thing here. He's actually going to move one movement factor to go there. And I want to put it on pause just for a second because I just thought of something, and give me a second to think about things. All right, I'm back, folks. So yeah, I know this episode is taking quite a while, but a lot of things to think about, talk about, and this is obviously an important phase of the game here. A lot of important things could alter on just this one turn. If we have broken units, this guy gets wiped out. Advantage Americans. The bypass movement, a couple episodes ago, we've been getting some great comments throughout this series talking about things. And, one of the things I talked about in the beginning was whether or not the bypass movement was going to kind of, between the concealment and the bypass, that they were going to be equaled out, advantage defender, advantage attacker, whatever. How is it going to play out? I think because of the bypass movement and being able to get the units around the woods, around the buildings, this guy actually came in and bypassed and got into this building here, which he normally couldn't do in the first turn, which prevented the German from moving units up. So I think, the bypass movements have actually helped the attacker. Obviously, the concealments helped the defender so far, and I think they've worked out pretty equally. I don't see an advantage one way or the other. Anyways, the American is now going to spend another movement factor here, and at that point, the German player says, wait a second. So if we look at, oops, don't look at that. We look at our setup here. We actually have one of our guns set up here that's going to take a shot. It's actually set up in this hex, just like that. Hex H5, which is right there, with the covering arc between H6 and I5. It should have been H6 and I6, sorry. Um, so obviously facing that way. I think I just mistyped it there. Um, H6 and I5. Yeah, so H6 is right here. So yeah, it was supposed to be these two hex sides. This is actually not a valid hex side. H6I5 doesn't quite work out that way. Anyways, that's where it was. I know, because, I'm the one that put it down there. Anyways, he's revealed himself, and he is taking a shot at the, oops, we almost forgot the squad here. So that goes under there. And he's going to take a shot at the American player, who's now out in the open, non-assault moving. And we're going to take an attack. So if we look at the chart, the 2A table chart, it's 0 to 6 hexes. Infantry type, it's an 8. Base attack. So FFNAM and FFMO do apply for that. So -1 to the dice roll for each one of those cases. I'm wondering if actually point blank range actually comes into play here. I think that is just, and I don't know this for sure, I don't know if that's just a full ASL rule, point blank range, if that's in starter kit or not. But that would also be a -2. Let's see if the dice roll, it might not even matter. So it's an 8, he gets a -2 to the dice roll, so he needs 10 or less to basically secure a hit. And we'll see what happens. Oh, shit. Well, he rolled a 10. Guns never cower, by the way, just so you know. So 8, and because he's moving out in the open and he's not assault moving, he will get -2 to his dice roll. So 10 becomes an 8, which is a hit. So he has secured a hit on this location. And now he's going to roll his 88 millimeters on the table here. 88 millimeters, as you can see, quite dangerous here. It's a 16 firepower column, and it's no more modifiers there. So it's a straight 16 attack. And I rolled a 6. So it's going to be a 2 morale check for that unit. 2 morale check. So this unit is a 7, and he's going to add 2 to the dice roll. Wow! He rolled a 3. Really? Wow. That's a bummer. So that's only a 5, and he passes his check. Well, he still has the opportunity to intensify. I believe intensifiers in starter kit. Oh boy, he really thought he was going to end up breaking that unit. That's why I was trying to debate whether he was going to shoot at him here or here. The only reason I let him come here, strategy-wise, I let the unit move here because I figured if I break him, he's going to have to route, and he was going to have to route back here, and he'd have to go down in here and then up in there into that route. He can't route here because of this unit here. Well, okay. Well, he's revealed himself. Dun, dun, dun. One of the 88s finally got his shot off. So now that throws a loophole into what the Americans were thinking. We were just going to plow up here and, advance into this hex, take care of this guy. But German player kind of has this smug look on his face because I think that caught a lot of people by surprise that the German player would put a gun right there. And after we get done with this, I'm going to talk about my strategies for that and see what you guys have to think about that. Have to say what your comments are about placement of said 88 right there in the middle of the firefight. But anyways, it's worked out well so far. Like I said, I don't know if a starter kit has intensive fire. That would be a great thing to know. I'm gonna have to we have to break this episode up pretty soon, anyways. And now the American player is really scrambling because this gun has this guy as a target. He's got this guy as a target. He's got this guy as a target. And he obviously has this guy as a target. Hmm. So what is the American player thinking about doing at this point? Huh. That's the next thing. Well, he's got to deal with this gun before he can advance up. So this unit's going to move, assault move here. Hang on. Let's think about this. This guy can't take another shot, because he's got somebody adjacent to him. He could actually move right up into that hex, force him to take another defensive fire shot. But that 16 fire column is just so dangerous. I think he'd rather just use his firepower against this guy. So yeah, he's just going to assault move into this hex, and this is going to slow the American progress down. Then this guy is going to move one movement factor to go there and 2-3 to go there. All right. This guy is actually going to one movement factor to go there and 2-3 to go there. He wants to make a kill stack because he's got to take this out as long as this thing stands there. Problem is, again, let me think about that. Let me think before we move these guys over. Again, we have the same problem. If we bring these guys over, we got an awesome kill stack to take this thing out. Problem is, during the German player's turn, well, it might not even get that far, because if we put enough firepower on here, it'd be let's see, 4, 8, it'd be 12 firepower. These elite squads, 4 firepower plus 2 for being in place gun. So it'd be a 12 plus 2 attack if we move this guy. Oh no, 12 plus 1 attack because we move the leader over there as well. That might be worth taking that guy out. Yep, we're going to do that. So 1 movement factor, 2, 3 movement factors. He'll be done. No defensive fire. This unit gets DM'd again because this unit moved up adjacent to him, which is what he wanted to do. He wanted to get that unit out of there. And then advance in. Oh, and tricky little German player. It almost worked out for him. And, even though I was playing the Americans, again, I knew that gun was sitting there, but I was just thinking, if I was the American player, what would I do? And this is, I'm trying to be fair and honest, and this is what I would do. Even though I knew the gun was there, I would have done just what we talked about. The American player, gathering his forces, move up, break this guy, have him run out, move into these hexes, try and take this guy out. Maybe the guns are down here or over here, or down here or over here. Who knows where the guns are? So yeah, I think that movement phase is completed. Next phase is going to be the defensive fire phase. Now, I got to find out. Does starter kit have sustained fire? Let me look real quick. I'm going to put it on pause. I'll be right back. All right, I didn't actually see it in the rule book, but there is intensive fire in the chart, a +2 modifier. So, I'm assuming that must mean, they wouldn't have it as a modifier in the rules if it wasn't part of the rules. So the 88 is going to get another shot. This time, let's see what the modifiers are going to look like here. We're not going to get the move in the open or non-assault move anymore. I don't think point blank range. You know, is that it? Was that a modifier? Let me see if that was a modifier in the chart. I didn't remember seeing that. Let's see if that's a modifier as well. I don't think it is. I think that's like a full ASL. Let's see here. What is that? That is L. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see point blank range in the target based or firing based modifiers. Covering arc, intensifier, fire within the hex. APCR, APDS, yada yada yada. So, I'm just looking to see if there's. I don't want to screw this up because it could be important. It could not, based on the numbers. Let's just roll the dice and we'll see. So we already have. We know it's an 8. He's going to get a -1 to his dice roll from having an acquisition marker there. He's not going to get any move in the open or anything. It's going to be a +2 because of intensifier, so it's going to be a +1 to his dice roll. He rolls a 5, +1 is 6. Yeah, so it's not going to matter. He's going to secure a hit again. This is going to flip over to a -2 now. And he's going to get another attack on that chart. 16 column. Let's see if we can roll anything better than like a 10 again. No, he rolls a 9. So a 9 happens to be a 1 morale check. 1 to the dice roll, he's a 7. He rolls a 9, +1 is 10. He actually does break this time. So, and that's going to final fire him. And I think that's going to be all of the defensive fire that we can possibly do. This guy's broken. This guy can't see. This guy can't see. German players are going to actually have to move some units during his turn, which is going to weaken their firepower. Yes, this guy again could defensive fire, but again, not gonna work. He's gonna hope that they don't get a good result. Half firepower from the concealment, half firepower because it's advanced phase. And then if they want to come in and melee them or whatever, then let them come in. It'll just slow them down, hopefully, anyways. So that is defensive fire in a nutshell. Not really in a nutshell. Lots to talk about, as usual. I think, if you are an ASL player or you are a starter kid or maybe you're just getting the rules, when you talk to people, why they enjoy this game, what makes it fun, what makes it interesting is, every turn is different and it's such a fluid situation where, right now, when you see the board and next turn at the same time, the board's going to look totally different. Different units are going to be broken. Different units are going to be replaced. Who knows? All kinds of stuff is going to happen between now and then. So, yeah, we'll see. By the way, this guy does have a rate of fire of 2, but he rolled a 5-5, so he wouldn't have got his rate of fire on his original attack. So that's one thing I forgot to mention is rate of fire for him. But he rolled a 5.5, so he didn't get his rate of fire. If he would have kept his rate of fire, that might have made things different. Um, but anyways, he ended up hitting and breaking this guy, which is what he was hoping to do anyways, get him away from his buddy here. Unfortunately, the German player has to route first, which is kind of crappy. Kind of crappy. I guess, strategy-wise, if I had to take it back and do it over again, the 88 should have shot at the American when he moved into this hex right here. The reason I let him come forward here was I was thinking the guy was going to have a problem routing away, which is not true after I looked at it. He can actually route here, which is, let's just get rid of these units. He can route from here into here. I can't see him anymore because he's down in the little valley. Then he can route up into this building, no problem. So he doesn't have a route problem issue. That's the only reason I let him come here. And the disadvantage of letting the American come here was he rebroke this unit, put the DM counter on him, and yep, that was probably a big mistake on my part. I totally own up to that. And I mention it now because it's something to think about if you are in that situation. You got units coming forward to try and re-DM your units. Don't let them get adjacent. So, yeah. I mean, like I said, the only reason I did let him come there was I was thinking he's not going to be able to route away. He's going to have to low crawl to get out of there. Or else we will just, we do have 2 firepower with the squad of a range of 2. Or the crew, I'm sorry. So I was thinking he might run into problems routing away. So he couldn't route here. He can low crawl here. He can't route here without being interdicted, is what I'm saying. So he'd have to take a morale check. And that's why I let him come up there. That was a mistake on my part. We haven't had anybody activate a sniper. I don't remember seeing that. If I missed that, I apologize, but I don't think anybody's rolled a 4 yet. We had a 3, a 5, a 6. Yeah, so I think we're okay with that. So hopefully I didn't miss that up. I know this episode has gone really long. Apologize for that. Advanced firing. You know what? We will break this episode up now. Because, I'm thinking we can get the rest of these phases done pretty quick, but it might actually take a little bit of time. So I will break these episodes up. Let me know your thoughts, comments, suggestions below. Let me know what I missed, and I'll mention it in the next episode. Thanks for all my ASL friends out there that are helping, keeping me honest, keeping me on my toes, and we'll see you next time.